Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Jess here. So I am moving, and the past couple of weeks I have been going through all of my things, decluttering, packing, all that fun stuff that comes with moving, which I am very excited for. It is a very, very exciting change that is happening in my life right now. But with all of this packing and going through my own stuff, that comes with some reflecting on why I collect what I collect, because I collect books, I collect tarot. Apparently I collect crystals now, which I did not realize how many crystals I have collected over the past 6 years. It's not huge, but it's more than what I would think of based off of the lack of use of crystals that I use in my practice. So that was an interesting observation. But anyway, that brought me to wanting to do a VR to Imogen over at Sapling Tarot. This is her on having a deck collection hashtag. So I'm going to be answering 14 questions around deck collecting specifically. I may kind of bring in thoughts I have around collecting my books, but I have not really had any kind of wild realizations about that specifically. It's more about the tarot and oracle decks that I have accumulated over the past 6 years. Ones I've gotten rid of, ones I've added, ones I've repurchased, all that fun stuff. So while I'm answering these questions, I'm actually going to be flipping through a few decks that I have actually left out while I was packing the rest of my decks. So about a week ago, I packed all my decks away, but I only left out maybe 10 or 11 or so to kind of work with, here and there. And there's actually only one missing, one I've actually accidentally packed earlier, but it is what it is. But I wanted to kind of show you kind of everything that was left out, which is actually a pretty good representation of my taste in decks in general. I feel like every deck I have to show you today, or that I left out, is a pretty good representation of my taste. So without further ado, let's get started. The first question is, how long have you been collecting decks? So I have been collecting decks since I started tarot, which was back in July of 2020, I believe. Yeah, July 2020. And this is the Wild Unknown Tarot if you haven't seen the box, but also it's a very popular deck. And for good reason. But I was gifted the Wild Unknown Tarot, not this exact copy, this is a different copy, back in July of 2020. And it was my first introduction to tarot, and needless to say, I was wildly confused. This is not a great beginner's deck, as I have discovered, and I've heard multiple people say that as well when they talk about this deck. But I was very confused, despite loving the art and loving the presence of animals and just the natural world in this deck, that I went perusing for other decks. Decks that would be easier for me to learn as a beginner. And that led me to the Everyday Witch Tarot, and the rest is history. I remember watching Lisa Papez. I believe she did a deck collection video, I believe in 2020, and I was just like mesmerized by all of the different depictions. At the time, I had no idea what oracle decks were, and I discovered what oracle decks were, and Lenormand, and I was like, what is this? So I was just completely captivated, and it's actually going to be exactly 6 years coming up here in a couple months. So it's crazy. It's kind of coming full circle a little bit. But anyway, why I'm showing you the Wild Unknown is, yes, it was my first deck. Yes, I was very confused. And there was a time where I just didn't read with it because I was so confused. It just didn't click for me. And after working with tarot, studying tarot, all of that good stuff, finding out what I like, coming back to it with some kind of foundational knowledge, really makes this deck make sense. I feel like this deck, I don't know, I don't think it's like super complicated or anything, but it kind of requires some background knowledge, a little bit of your own gnosis about tarot in order to really shine in a way. That's why I think it's kind of full circle, because now 6 years later, I'm reflecting on collecting, and one of the decks I'm using to reflect on that is this deck. So yeah, that is the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans. Number 2, what kind of collection do you have? Minimal, utilitarian, aesthetic, historical. So this is the Everyday Witch Tarot, by the way. I would say my collection is very fluid and is a really cool representation of who I am, because there are just, I guess, so many different parts of myself. I mean, there's different parts of all of us, right? I'm not exactly special when it comes to that, but I feel like my diverse taste in interests in media and books. I love different genres. I love fantasy, I love horror, I love literary fiction, I love romantasy, I love romance, historical romance, nonfiction. Like, it's all over the place, right? And I feel like that also represents kind of this eclectic nature, I guess. And so, yeah, I guess I would consider my collection to be eclectic, but it is also utilitarian, because to be utilitarian, it's like things either need to have a purpose or a reason. And for me, the side of utilitarian, the utilitarianness of my collection is a reason for having each deck. And if that reason is just because it makes me happy, then that's reason enough for me. A lot of my decks do have jobs, they do have uses, and multiple reasons as to why I have them. But it could just be as simple as it brings me joy. And yeah. And while we're on the subject, the reason why I have the Everyday Witch Tarot, one, I learned tarot in this deck, so it's very dear to my heart. It's what made tarot make sense for me. It feels very nostalgic. The artwork brings me right back to my inner child and the way I viewed the world as a child, or thought the world was going to be. So yeah, it's really cozy, and it's kind of cheesy and kitschy and, you know, just, you know, stereotypical witchy girl, but, you know, I love it. And there's a cat in every single card. Is there a cat in this one? There's not a cat in the Hanged Man. What? Sorry. Wow. Okay, I just realized that. I thought there was a cat in every card. Anyway, yeah, Everyday Witch. To represent the use and reason for my deck collection or whatever. And like not every prompt is gonna have a corresponding deck because I have less decks here than prompts. But it's just gonna be kind of, yeah, just wanted to show you these. Number 3, are you a completionist? So completionist would be having all the decks by the same creator, right? And no, I'm not. At least not intentionally. And it's not something that I intentionally set out to do when I find a deck that I like and I see that, you know, a creator has other decks. This is a Halloween tarot, by the way. Feeling very much a summerween vibe right now. So anyway, no, as I was saying, not on purpose. I don't set out to do it. Although I do have the full complete Wild Unknown collection. But I didn't do that for the sake of having everything by Kim Krans. I did that because I like all of those decks. If they were not part of the same collection as like the Wild Unknown, I still would have bought them. Like the fact that they were, you know, a set or a series, it didn't really mean anything to me. And 2 other examples is Patrick Valenza decks. I only have 3, right? I think I only have 3 Deviant Moon / Patrick Valenza decks. Seasons of the Witch, I only have 2 because I only like 2 of them. I don't need to have 8. But that doesn't mean I'm against not being completionist in the future if I like everything that a certain creator makes. So yeah. Okay, number 4, how do you store / organize your collection? Right now everything is in a box aside from the decks that I'm showing you right now. Pretty much everything is in a box because I'm moving. So that's kind of difficult for me to answer because I don't know what my storage situation exactly is going to look like in our new home. So I'm not sure. I would really like to maybe have them maybe all on one shelf or in one cubby or one or 2 shelves. There are some decks I like to keep out typically, like both of my Todd Alcott decks. Those I like to keep by my TV. It just fits, I think. I also have 2 pop culture decks. I have the Buffy Tarot and I have the World of Warcraft Tarot. Those I would love to keep by my computer. Everything else, like, I don't really have a plan for, honestly. I usually have a little basket on my desk where I keep, you know, a small selection of decks that I'm working with for a season or for a month. But that gets kind of changed whenever I feel like I need to change it. So yeah, right now there really is no solid system, and that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. When it comes to organizing my books, I have 2 like bookcases, but they don't all fit. So some of those shelves in my bookcases, they're double stacked, and then I have books in other places as well. So same thing with the books. I'm not exactly sure how those are going to be organized, but we'll figure it out and find a good system that works for our new home. So I'm very, very excited. All right, number 5, what is your favorite thing about your collection? I feel like I kind of touched on this in question 2, but my favorite thing is that it's very me. I have chosen every single one of these decks because I genuinely love them, and I feel like they represent, you know, a part of me or things that I've experienced, or I just really love them aesthetically. So I think that is my favorite part of my collection. It's also really fun. Like, I often will just go in and like grab a random deck from my collection and just flip through it, maybe do a reading with it, but it's just fun. Number 6, what is your least favorite thing or something to improve your collection? Right now, I'm very happy with where I'm at with my collection. I guess this is one thing that isn't exactly like my collection's fault for doing inherently, or anything that I need to fix about the collection itself. But I think my least favorite thing just about collecting in general is the shame behind it. I don't feel this feeling of shame anymore. I have pretty extensively in the past, and sometimes it does come up for me, but it's not a frequent thing. But I feel like I would like it to not come up, you know. But sometimes you can't really avoid those types of feelings, you know, like if they're activated around something. But it is what it is, you know. I work through it when it pops up. But as a whole, that's really not a feeling that I experience anymore. I think one thing really, really helps, actually 2 things that really, really help with this. One is hearing other people's experiences about shame that they have around their deck collecting, especially when I'm talking to a close friend about it that is, you know, who also experiences similar feelings. It's really, really helpful to know that, like, you know, I'm not the only one experiencing this. And 2, which is the biggest one for me, is my partner is incredibly supportive of me just enjoying what I love and feeling safe enough to share that with him. It's like having that feeling and knowing in my heart that, you know, they're not just saying it is incredible. Like, I can't explain the feeling because I've had the complete opposite in the past. So yeah, that is definitely something that is really helpful in healing from that. But, you know, the feelings of shame, they're not my deck's fault, or the collection itself. So, you know, it's completely a me thing. And I'm very, very aware of that. And yeah, I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place with it. Yeah. Number 7, what is the biggest category in your collection? So I'm going to show you 2 decks for this one because these 2 represent literal representations of this. So the biggest category obviously is tarot. I don't know why I said obviously, it is tarot. But is my Rider-Waite-Smith collection and my Thoth. I have multiple copies of these and I'm very happy with that. This one is a mass market green box, not the most recent printing. This was a printing from, I don't know, I got it used at the time, and I think I got it in 2021. I got it used. I believe it was printed 2015, I don't know for sure. But it's the green box that was like, the colors are really vibrant. Now they're not so vibrant, unfortunately. And then I trimmed off all the borders and edged it in this gold color. It was a really, really bad trim job, but it was my first trim job and I love it. It's my like most favorite Thoth that I own. And this is my most favorite RWS. This is one from the 70s where it has that like super soft cardstock. Oh, I love it. But I feel like my Thoth and my Rider-Waite-Smith collection is the biggest biggest category, and I don't have like 50 of each or anything like that. I have 4 Thoth decks and 3 or 4 Rider-Waite-Smith off the top of my head. Yeah, so yeah, tarot in general, and then RWS and Thoth, and they're my 2 favorite systems, so it just makes sense. What is your smallest category? Definitely my Tarot de Marseille decks. I only have 2, and I don't feel super drawn to them. It's more just the Marseille system in general, not the decks themselves, but like the actual Marseille system. I'm just kind of like, it's fine, I guess. You know, like I haven't hit that point in my journey with tarot where I'm like needing to learn Tarot de Marseille, you know. I don't have any Lenormand decks right now. I used to really be into Lenormand, and then it just kind of fell off, and I got rid of those, and like honestly I don't really miss it. I might bring it back in the future. I don't know. Playing cards. I know how to read playing cards. I only read from like one playing card deck, but most of my playing card collection isn't really in my divination deck collection, I guess. It's more in the game section, so I didn't really want to count that. Yeah. God, these are so beautiful. Okay. So next question is, do you have a holy grail in your collection? This question I was kind of like, didn't know how to answer this, because is this considered a holy grail as like the tarot community considers a holy grail? You know, like the hoi polloi or the Vampire Tarot by Robert M. Place, or the Slow Holler Tarot. Like, I don't know, because none of those are my holy grails. So I didn't really know how to answer this exactly, but I will share with you a holy grail. Actually 2 holy grails, because I have one up here. Forgot. It's up here. That I have in my collection, and that I love. So yes, I do have a holy grail. I have 2. The first one is the US Games production of the Tantric Dakini, which is the secret Dakini before it became the Tantric Dakini. And I love it. Okay, the art is the same. The font is different. Cardstock is so much better. And that's the primary reason why I wanted the secret Dakini. This deck is wild. It's absolutely wild. And I found this at a ridiculously good price, like under $50. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to find this vintage version of this deck for that price ever again. So I got it, and I'm so happy I did, because it was in amazing condition. It didn't come with the book or anything, which is fine, because I still have the Tantric Dakini book. So it's all good. But yeah, I'm so elated that I found this, and yeah. And the other one that I have is spoiler, another Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, but more colorful, and that is the Ruby Fire Tarot by Carol Herzer. I have been wanting a Carol Herzer deck for forever, and I had the opportunity to get one, and it's gigantic. Like, it's almost as big as my hand, and I'm so happy I got the bigger cards. They're kind of unwieldy, I'll fully admit, but worth it. Yeah, Carol Herzer decks are kind of insane. They are handmade. They're hand laminated and hand cut as well. And this was just one of my holy grail decks. And just because something is a holy grail, say as a whole, you know, community-wise, does not mean that it is something that is going to be a holy grail for me or is guaranteed to work for me. Like I said, like the Vampire Tarot by Robert M. Place, I had that and did not work for me at all. And it was very, very, very sad because I love vampires. So, and I wanted to love it so bad, but I just couldn't get on with it. And that's okay. That's okay. Not every deck is meant for me. And that is okay. So, yeah. This deck is insane. I love it. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Next question. Do you ever wish your collection was bigger, smaller, or is it complete? I feel like I would have a different answer for this question depending on the day. But today, as of May 14th, it is complete. It feels complete to me, and I feel very fulfilled and grateful for the collection that I have. And I feel like it reflects who I am in a really authentic way. And I'm sorry if that word kind of bothers you, because sometimes I feel like the word authentic is overused, but I didn't really know how else to describe that. But yeah, I'm happy with where it's at, and don't really intend on making it smaller or bigger. But I will say that my deck collection, I want it to reflect my practice and who I am as a person, so it needs to be fluid. So if that means who I am at a certain point means I have less decks, then that's okay. I have less. If it means I have more, okay, cool. But my intention as of right now, when it comes to, you know, having something leave or having something brought in, I really, really want it to be a one-to-one kind of thing, because the size that it's at now is pretty much all I can handle. So I don't want to go larger. It's fine if I go smaller, but at the end of the day, I just want it to reflect me and what makes me the most happy. And that kind of brings me to like some commentary on my practice with tarot, or like my use with tarot. I really want to slow it down. And I've realized lately that doing kind of like prescribed practices, while is really, really great in theory, it's not always for me, right? It's just, it feels like I'm following someone else's guidelines versus my own, and I'm not actually focusing on the things I need to work on, right? It's more focusing on different things that aren't necessarily issues for me. And I really want to slow that down and listen to what I truly need. Use decks that I am drawn to. Maybe do some deck studies. Like, I just want to slow it down, basically. I don't want it to feel so rushed and like I need to do all the things, right? I don't. I really don't. Number 11, how often do you declutter your collection? I used to do very infrequent, massive declutters. I don't like doing that. I hate doing that. It's a pain in the ass. It's overwhelming and not great for my mental health. So at this point, it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna declutter or get rid of something when I feel like I need to. Like, if I am not enjoying a deck, right? And I know in my heart that it's not something that is going to be useful for me in the future, I'm just gonna let it go. Like, it's fine. I don't need to hold on to it. Number 12, do you ever get envious seeing other people's collections? No, I get inspired. And I'm incredibly entertained by it. It's just like, you know, watching a shelf tour when people are showing like all of their books, right? I'm just adding books to my TBR, right? I don't feel jealous for not having those books already. I'm inspired by it. And same thing when it comes to this. Like, I'm inspired when I see Krista or Lisa Pepez or Thea or Mistress Ray like show their deck collection, and I'm like, damn, that's cool. Then that's about it. Number 13, speaking of that, who on YouTube has the best collection videos? You know, I feel weird kind of like picking people out, but like, I guess I gotta answer the question. I just think collection videos are so fun. I will admit there are times when I have them on and I don't always know who it is in the moment. I mean, I'll look later, but in the moment I don't always know. Sometimes I just like watching collection videos. But the ones at the top of my head that I can think of is Krista Chronicles. She is doing a really, really fun deck collection series right now where she's doing it by season, and that is really cool. I mentioned before I like Lisa Pepez. Yes, I loved her collection videos. Dawn Michelle has some really great ones, and also Mistress Ray recently had a really, really great collection video, and same thing with Thea. Her whole series with that was really cool. So yeah, but I guess I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, if I didn't mention like your collection video or series, like, it doesn't mean I don't find that entertaining. I do. It's just those popped into my head. So number 14, what's some advice you give to a future / new deck collector? Oh, okay. Number 1, I feel like this is everyone's answer. Have fun. Have fun with it. This is meant to be a fun thing. This is not meant to be stressful. It's really not that serious. I mean, it can be, of course. Your readings can be serious. No question about that. But collecting these, having multiple sets of cards, it's really not that serious. It's fun. It's really fun, and it can be really healing, but it's not something that needs to be a stressor, right? And with that is take your time. Take your time. Take the time to use the decks, to get to know them, because sometimes, you know, you get a deck in your collection, and a really good example of that for me is the Thoth. I was very intimidated by it. I was kind of scared of it. But once I started using it, it was just like another tarot deck, and it became a really important piece of my work with tarot, right? So like, take your time, because I would have never learned that unless I actually took the time to get to know the deck and work with it and all of that. And listen to what you like, right? You know, it's like, I know how easy it is to be influenced and inspired by other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. The only time it becomes a problem, I feel, is when you start to not listen to yourself and you're like ignoring what you like and trying to convince yourself you like something because it's popular, right? Or because your favorite YouTuber talked about it, or your favorite reader on Instagram was using it. So you don't have to like everything that everyone else likes. And in order to hear that, right, in order to understand what you like, sometimes you need to take a break from the outside noise. And that's okay to do. You don't need to feel bad for being like, hey, I'm not going to listen to anyone's opinion right now. I'm just going to, I don't know, go to the store, go on Amazon, go on Barnes & Noble's website, go to your local metaphysical shop and just pick out something that feels good to you, right? I was watching, oh my God, I'm completely blanking. Mary Grace. I was watching Mary Grace's VR to this, and it's actually something I'm going to take into account the next time I am, kind of wanting to get a deck, is go into a bookstore or metaphysical store, and without knowing anything about a deck, pick something that you just feel drawn to, that looks interesting to you, without looking up a walkthrough or a review. Like, just going there and getting something kind of blind, and then going home forming your own opinion about it. Like, I think it's kind of wild how that feels like such a novel idea when it's really not, right? It really isn't. That's just what people would do before YouTube and reviews and all that stuff. And I think that was a really, really cool piece of advice that I heard. That was actually earlier today when I was packing. I was like watching her VR, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, that's all of my advice. But anyway, that's all the questions for the VR. I wanted to show you the two other decks that I'm currently using. And this is the Black Violet Tarot. And I had this indie back when it was indie, and I did not like it. I didn't like it, but not because of the art. It's because it had this silver gilding that would rub off on your hands. Like, it was like glittery, and it really annoyed me, and that's why I got rid of it. I kind of wish I didn't, but it is what it is. I love this copy. I love the purple gilding. I love the cardstock. So, it is what it is. But this is what I'm currently using the most right now, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. Like, I'm doing all of my readings with it. And then another oracle I'm using semi-consistently is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. So this is by the same creator as the Wild Unknown Tarot, but it is an animal oracle, and it's really cool. I love it. I did a horseshoe spread this morning with this deck and this deck, and holy cow. It was good. It was a really good reading, very affirming about transitions happening and all of that. So yeah, that is all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much to Imogen from Sapling Tarot for creating this tag. Also, one more thing before I go. I want to mention that I am moving, which we know, but that means that my filming schedule isn't really going to be a priority right now. So I'm not really sure when I'll be able to film another video for you guys. But just know I will be back. I do want to do like a summer deck. I don't know, hopefuls. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.